winning streak after the injury.
Brown outside. Kicks to Holiday. Here's Porzingis. Finishes it off with a one-handed jam. There's guys that old defense. Just watching him go right by.
I think we might be seeing which team is ready to take control of this game.
Yeah, that's a dunk that could absolutely get them going. I agree, Clark.
Gets it to go. Well, Clark, as you said, with Rondo and the Celtics, they would go on to win the next 7 right after his injury. And overall, Steve played better than expected the rest of the way.
Sometimes that's the way these things go, Kevin. A star player goes down, everybody else steps up. Instead of feeling sorry for themselves, they use it as a rallying cry. And all those role players for Boston really picked up the extra slack. I thought they made a great push to end that season after the Rondo injury.
He got right to the cup using that screen.
Well, the drive to the bucket was nice, but how about the finger roll finish? Beautiful.
Let's catch up with Doris from the sideline.
Kevin, here's what the Celtics head coach had to say when we spoke just a few minutes ago. The thing that jumps out at him the most about their opponent today is the team speed they possess. He said, we've got to push them back on defense every time down the floor. This is a team that loves to run, and we've got to be prepared to do the same. Gentlemen?
Thanks a lot, Doris. And that one falls for White.
It had been almost 2 decades since the Knicks had finished atop the Atlantic Division, guys, and since the most recent alignment changes in '04, they had never finished first. That changed last year.
And here are the Knicks now. It's a 3-point game. That's to Hart. 6 on the shot clock. Buries it down low.
He's got a nice soft touch with that floater and used it beautifully right there.
Yeah, the Atlantic title had just gone between the Nets and the Celtics for the last 11 or so seasons, but finally, Knicks were able to reach the top, and they did it in a year, Steve, where the division was loaded with good teams.
Yeah, no doubt. With the Celtics, Nets, and Knicks, pretty good solid teams there. I thought the Knicks had an excellent season all in all, but in New York, the expectations are high. And they want more than just an Atlantic Division title.
And so it's New York with it. After the made shot from White, the pass to Hart. And so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot 2.
It seems like he's got more floor burns than just about any player in the league because people dive head first after any loose ball, no regard for personal safety.
And you know what? He is also relentless on the boards. He works as hard on his rebounding as anybody you're going to see.
First free throw is good.
You know, the Celtics ruled the Atlantic starting with their title run in '08, but last year it finally came to an end, that ruling of the Atlantic. 5 straight years of winning their division is now behind them.
Both free throws good from Hart. And back to the Celtics in the Atlantic. You knew it was going to be hard for them to keep winning the division with all the talent, Steve, that has come into it within the last couple of years.
Well, it's a great 5-year run for Boston in terms of winning the Atlantic, but with the up-and-coming teams in New York and Brooklyn, all of a sudden Boston is looking ahead, looking above them to the other teams in the division, and now it's time to make another push, another rebuilding job, and get back on top.
Now, here's Brown. Tatum. Time to finish it.
Driving how to throw that one down.
Sky high. Fantastic one-hand jam.
What a way to wrap up that possession. That's not what they needed there, that's for sure.
And here in the first, approaching 3 minutes played, Brown with the lead pass, gets it together.
You know, his ability is matched only by his energy, guys. I mean, he's usually in the middle of everything for his team.
Brunson guarded by Holiday. Pass to Hart. And shot on the way. No good. Now Boston takes it the other way. Brown outside. He kicks to Holiday. Stolen. And here's the break. New York moving it around. Drops in the tray.
They're off and running. Good start here. They've knocked down 4 of their first 5.
The Celtics with the lead. He feeds it to Holiday. They set the pick. 6 to shoot. Oh, and there's the alley-oop. And there's the Celtics with another basket.
This is a team that's focused, completely locked into the task at hand. What an impressive start to this game.
The pass to Hart.
You'd expect him to nail that one being that close to the hoop.
Boston leading by 4. Here's Porzingis. It's rebounded by New York. The feather touch on the finger roll. Beautiful.
The second he got around the pick and shook his man, it was straight to the bucket for the easy deuce. Very, very well done.
Right side, White. They set the screen. Second chance effort. He lays it in. 6 points for him.
These defenders look overmatched right now, especially inside.
Yeah, you look at the numbers, 10 of the last 12 points have come from close range, so I agree.
And the Knicks with possession here. Trailing by 4. Gets it to go.
He can finish in the post. That's one thing we know about him.
Holiday with it. He's been patient so far. Nothing yet on the scoreboard. White drives in. Here's Porzingis. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there.
Great job. Take it right at the defense. I like the aggressiveness.
Yeah, he left him no choice but to foul there.
Quickly check out the scoring breakdown here for the Celtics.
We've seen a lot of their points coming off penetration in this first half.
You know, one other thing that's clear is how well they're burying their jump shots here in the early going.
And he makes the first.
You can't be the number 2 seed in the East by being mediocre on the road. I mean, the Knicks had a veteran group, and they all had the mental fortitude and experience to finish off games on the road last season.
And so he makes both from the line. Mark, as you said, the Knicks were one of the tougher teams on the road, and their road record was what separated them, Steve, from the middle of the pack in the East.
Yeah, 23 road wins, second only to the Heat in the East. It was interesting, Kevin. They relied so heavily on threes that sometimes on the road they go cold, but they can also get hot in a hurry, and they were able to avoid a bad spell.
The defense better not make a habit of giving him that shot. I mean, he doesn't miss many of them.
Here's White.
And the next foul will put them over the limit and in the bonus.
A chance to get some easy points at the line here, so it makes sense to be aggressive.
Full 24-second shot clock. Tatum defended by Hart. Shots good. He's got 6.
So far, so good for them at the offensive end here in the early going.
Boy, the field goal percentage was fantastic. Exactly the kind of start they were hoping for.
And so here is New York. 6-point game. Here's Townsend. Solid play in the low block, and that one's good.
Boy, this game is off to a terrific start.
No doubt. On both sides, high-octane offense.
So the Celtics called timeout. They're first.
You knew that at some point the window for the group of Celtics that had won a title was going to close. I mean, it was inevitable, but last year it seemed like they were going to go for one last hurrah. They added some depth and looked to reload for another run.
Celtics leading by 4. And getting back to the Celtics and Rondo's injury, a lot of people expected them to start the rebuilding process. Ended up staying Steve. Even though the rise, it seemed a lot of interest.
You want to give that group, KG and Pierce, Rondo, you want to give them another run. And they had their last hurrah. They didn't finish. And now you start the rebuilding project. So a lot of trades, a lot of movement over the summer. But I like the fact that they gave that club one more run.
So it's Boston now, following the score by New York. And that's out of bounds. Boston will retain possession. Remains Boston ball. Robinson's checked in for New York. And it's out of bounds. The Knicks will take it the other way.
Boy, just a brain cramp, guys. I mean, that should have been the simplest of exchanges.
And New York making a change here. Knicks trail by 4. Brunson guarded by Holiday. Robinson, that's good.
Boy, they keep hammering away at him inside, forcing that ball into the paint. Smash mouth basketball.
Yeah, it's a strategy that has served them well in this opening half part.
Back to Brown. This ball moved by Boston. Horford dishes to Brown. Back to Horford. Shot clock at 6. Those 3-pointers off the mark. Here's New York. Brunson guarded by Holiday. Dishes it to Robinson. Robinson left side. And there are the Knicks with another bucket.
The entire defense was frozen-footed. Nobody picked up the shooter, Kevin.
Here comes Holiday. He's had some playing time, but no scoring yet from him. Brown kicks to Holiday. Back to Brown. Swiped away. And it's blocked by Holiday. And it's out of bounds to the Knicks as New York retains possession. And New York making a change here. To shoot. Eshua. From out on the wing, he knocks it down. Boston trailing. Richard defended by Kane. Foul called that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
You know, the Knicks got off to a fast start, but when you employ as many old bodies as they did last year, it's hard to sustain the level of play you need over the course of a full season. It's one reason they started to falter a bit late in the year.
The first free throw is good. And Clark, you said the Knicks did hit that lull last season right after the All-Star break into early March. Steve, when the vets saw the finish line in sight, they picked up their play and got back in it.
That's right. They won 13 games in a row late in the season, catapulting themselves back into the top tier of teams in the East, and let everyone know that they would not be exiting the playoffs early. That really was the start of that run.
That's also good. So he hits both free throws.
You know, you think of what a typical Eastern Conference team plays like, and you often think of the Celtics. I mean, they like to slow it up. They'll play hard D and take their fouls when they can. Still, the Celtics last year were just average when it came to playing the rest of the conference.
Here's Shamet, fires the 3. The shot misses. And here's Boston. Holiday left side. Uses the glass to finish the layup. And that The Celtics, even as you said, Clark, they do all the things most Eastern Conference teams do well. They just couldn't keep it together, Steve, to finish far above 500.
Well, losing Rondo was a huge part of it as they had to adjust their entire offense midway through the season. I think a lot of it, too, is the rest of the East has caught up to them, and time is finally catching up to them.
Celtics making a switch here. The Celtics with the lead. Pass to Horford. Back to Holiday. Like at 6. Puts up a 3. The Knicks pull it in. Outside Robinson. He passes to Payne. Back to Robinson. McBride. Passes it to Shannon for 3. Shot is off. Boston's gone 0-2 from deep here. There's a minute 47 left to play in the first. Hazard. Boston, no good that time either. New York's gone 1 of 3 from beyond the arc so far in the game. Here's Payne, guarded by Holiday. Tries again. Payne's shot is good.
You know, that putback's about as easy as it's going to get. You have to put a body on someone down there.
Well, no box out, that's the result you get right there.
Boston with the ball. Number 88, guarded by Robinson. Number 88, no luck. The Knicks go the other way with it.
Good glass work there. Rebounds have been a little tough to come by for them in this quarter.
Well, it looks to me like they're still finding their way out there, but it is early.
And he gets contact and the whistle on the shot. 2 shots coming up.
A lot of high hopes for the Knicks in last year's playoffs. They started off so hot, but then let the series against Boston drag on, and eventually went to 7 games, and they fell to the Pacers in the second round after that.
And that one falls, and that puts them up by 1 point. And the Boston series did drag on them, you could tell. You wonder if they were a bit fatigued going into that Pacers series. Steve, Indiana just outplayed him, outworked him in every way in the second round.
Yeah, I think it was a factor, Kevin, and really the Knicks have only themselves to blame. They had Boston down 3-1 and a home game to close it out, but they couldn't get it done. And there's no doubt that affected them against Indiana in the next series.
58 seconds left to play here in the first. There's the dish to Horford. Backing down. Shot denied. He dishes it to Robinson. Pass to Shannon. Fires from deep. Well, they recover it. 2-second difference between shot clock and game clock.
Pure hustle on that play, and that's what it takes on the offensive boards. It's not about ability as much as it is desire.
And that Clark in some muscle, and he showed us he's got plenty of that with the huge dunk.
Well, in a tight game, I mean, they could use a few more of those hustle plays going forward if they're going to win.
The feed now to Horford. Jacks up a 3. And it's Horford again missing. From the arc. And it would have counted had it fallen, but it's offline. And that concludes the first quarter of play. Knicks lead by 4.